Hello, my friends. Good morning. It is bright, it is sunny, still cold, but not bad. Found out that my body can adjust to the cold. I've definitely acclimated. Like, I have a lot less on than I did back in November and December. The temperature's about the same. My fingers are still kind of stinging because of the cold, but I don't even notice it like I did before. It's amazing what acclimation can do. It's kind of an interesting thing. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. I am Ann Ferguson. This is a live walk and talk that I do every weekday morning. We are going to talk about something that we've talked about before, but kind of in a different way. Today, I was trying to think what aspect are we going to go into. So we are trying to increase how much love we can receive, how much love we can feel. And we're not requiring anybody else to show up in any certain way. We're actually observing and finding treasure of where people are loving on us. And the treasure also is in our heart. Like, we can see things out there, but very rarely do we connect with, oh, and because of that, I'm feeling really loved. So if you want to know how to do that, go back and watch my video about how to whack a rock. Kind of goes deep down into that. We are going to expose something that really, really prevents us from love. It prevents us from feeling it. What it does is it shoves it out there and says that externally, if these things show up, then that means I'm loved. But even then, you don't feel loved because you don't crack that rock open of your heart and actually go in and go, oh, this feels loving to me. So we need to go into the why and how this thing happens, and then I'll reveal it. This generation, since TV and movies came into being, we have a whole different experience about love and about what love is and what love isn't. And it's because of the media. Your brain does not know when it sees an image that it's different than you experiencing it live. And so as you're watching media, there is a sound mixing that comes in that, gets you the, like right now you can hear the birds. People mix that in, and then they put musical scores. They put musical scores in, and that music causes us to feel something. So the other day when I did a fireside, I brought some music. I shut off the lights and I turned on the music, and I said, okay, what I want to know is, what do you feel when you hear this music? And they could say, I feel scared, I feel powerful, I feel like running, or I feel happy, I feel sassy. And it's because the music creates in us an emotional response. So what happens with the picture and the feelings that we have is that then we believe that that's how it's supposed to be. If there's not that picture, then we don't have that generation of feeling. And so what happens is it creates expectations surrounding love. Especially girls, ladies, chick flicks. We've set up these expectations. I just listened to music. Songs. For our anniversary, I put on some songs that I listened to when Tom and I were dating, and totally, the feelings all rushed back. Those songs generated emotion in me. Ladies, chick flicks, they work on us. Why? Because we see something and that equals love. So, frustration, irritation, annoyance, judgment, failure, lack of confidence, lack of trust. All of those have one root cause. And that root cause is 100% expectations. See, the videos and the songs, the love songs and everything, they've set up expectations about how it's supposed to be so that you can feel love. Guess what? All of those things are scripted, and they're very specifically generated to make us feel loved, or sad, or scared, or strong, or triumphant, or oppressed. The media, if you'll sit and watch a movie and keep yourself aware of how many emotions you are feeling in any given movie, it's fascinating. I want you to think for just a minute about your expectations about Valentine's Day. So, one that can really, really get you down is, I don't have a Valentine. This is the first year of my divorce. My husband doesn't even look at me. My wife, I irritate her. I just nag her. There's not love any. You don't have any Valentine, right? That's the number one expectation of Valentine's Day. All right. Why is that? Why is that the number one? Anybody know? Valentine's Day is supposed to be all about love, but all of the ads show a couple in a romantic exchange. The chocolate equals, I love you, sweetheart. It's all in a heart-shaped box. So you have a Valentine, but Valentine's Day hasn't been a big thing for you. How fun. And I mean that. In that, is that what you would love? You have a Valentine. It's not a big deal. So you kind of just, is that what you do in life too? I mean, is the expectation that you have that Valentine doesn't really matter? Because I was married to a man who, trying to explain this, it was almost like he was very prideful in the fact that I was okay if he did nothing for Valentine's Day. Like, I'm that kind of woman who just doesn't care. I don't get all upset and fussy. So his expectation of me is, don't care. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying, did I want him to pay a little bit of attention to me? Yes. Really what I wanted to do is feel loved, right? So what other expectations are there about Valentine's Day? Like, how do you know that you're loved on Valentine's Day? Anybody? I just love you to shout out there, you're not wrong, you're not right. What expectations? You have no expectations. You're recently back together, okay? Just a single rose recognized the day would be enough. So I love this. Not expecting, but does he know that a single rose would be enough? Or is one of the expectations that we have about Valentine's Day that if they could read my mind, that would mean they loved me? If they knew me, really knew me, they would know that what I need is just a single gesture, right? You're gonna buy yourself sparkling cider. Oh, and go do your toes, good. I would love to be shown more attention and love on Valentine's Day. I can also do that for him, good job. So a lot of times, ladies, we have this really big expectation that if he really loved me, he would know, okay, that, okay, let's go with what expectation does. Frustration with them, they failed, you're disappointed, irritated, annoyed. Ugh. So many expectations are set up on Valentine's Day. It's like the day of, can you show up for me? It's not the day of love, right? Because here's the other thing. You can give love to somebody else. Ooh, here's a big one. Do you receive it? So one of the things that we've been working on is to be able to feel love, to feel loved, to appreciate and go, oh my gosh, that's actually an expression of love. So on, I was thinking about my husband and how I never ever have to do a honey-do list. Like, he takes care of all of the maintenance things in the house, it's never even a thing. And the reason why I came across this is because there's a woman who I am working with who, she's recently divorced. I just signed the papers just a couple days ago. Her brother and sister-in-law came over to her house to help her because the fire alarms, the little smoke alarm things, her husband had taken them down because they were beeping and he didn't fix them. They'd been gone for about a year. And she's like, can you just help me get these things up? And they came over and they saw those, and then they saw this. And then they said, we need to get this fixed. And, oh, you've been dealing with this? And they went through her house and went through this list. And she said she really struggled with how she wasn't valued. That's what the list meant. That how he just didn't care about her or her kids or their life. That was her perception of that. And I went, you know what? I never have that perception. I never have that perception because my husband always keeps up on that. I didn't know, honestly, that was, wow. Like when he changes those vents, the air filters, he's showing me that he cares about what's going on inside me, inside our home. Like he's taking care of things so that I don't have to, so that I'm always comfortable. I didn't know that. So him being up on a ladder, changing air filters, I did not receive as love. So we're looking at what we appreciate, admire, or respect, and what we feel because of that, and it's about receiving the love. How many of you don't meet expectations and then find out later that you have failed and you've disappointed somebody because there have been expectations? Okay, I want to take this to God for just a minute. Do you know that there's not expectations? There are commandments. There are things that he says, hey, do this and you're going to be okay. I'm actually teaching you how to live kind of in a higher way. So when you keep those commandments, it's just going to lift you up. That's kind of what I would love for you. But I don't expect anything. He anticipates. Anticipates. I want you to really hear that. What is the difference? Cutting off the head is like looking at the expectation. It's so fun. Really go into your emotions here. I hope that he brings me a single rose. I love that. That is beautiful. And yet, and if he doesn't, it's okay. But you didn't get the thing. It's totally okay that you want that rose. So my question is, are you willing to tell him? Are you willing to let him know? I've talked just a little bit about my anniversary that was last week. And my anticipation was that we were going to be together. My desire was that we were going to feel connected to each other. Now I could say, and so what connection looks like is you have to do this and this and this and this. And then that means you love me, and now I can connect with you and do it, right? My understanding is that they would really, really like to get it right. But this whole guessing what we want, talk about anxiety. Have you ever, ladies, have you ever tried to do something hoping that you would get it right and found out it was completely wrong? I have. I bought gifts for my husband, all excited, thinking I was going to get it right. Didn't mean a dang thing to him. And it wasn't his fault. So to be able to say, this is what I did. First of all, I just said, hey, you got any ideas about our anniversary? That's a no. So a few days later, have you thought about our anniversary? No. I could interpret that through expectations of he doesn't care because he's not thinking about our anniversary. I didn't. I anticipated a really, really cool night and experience because that's what I desired most, is that we be connected and just kind of really celebrate us a little bit, you know? And so I started thinking about what I thought we could do. And that's when I connected into him a little bit. He likes golf. It's been a long time since we've golfed. There's a new golf place that's opened up. You know, I heard they have good wings. So I said, hey, how about we do this? So now the anticipation is we will go out. Because he said, yeah, that sounds good. So the anticipation is we're not going to stay at home for the anniversary. We're going to go out. And I could have said, hey, so I would really love to just go out. I did not say that. I just, hey, how about this? He said yes. Then he found the symphony that I've talked about. The big thing is that I don't remember if it was the day of. I think it was the day of. I said, after the symphony, this is what I desire. And I laid out some things. And part of that was connecting heart to heart, like kind of expressing what we appreciate, admire, respect. That fills me up. I feel connected. That, gentlemen, listen up if you're listening. Women's form of intimacy. We're going to go in this possibly tomorrow, for sure next week. Women's form of intimacy is not sexual. A woman's form of intimacy is emotional connection. Deep emotional connection. So we'll talk all about that, but what I was looking for was my form of intimacy. I wanted connection. I wanted to feel like I saw him and he knew it and received it. And I want him to know that he saw me and that I knew that. That's what I was looking for. Now, here's the anticipation part. I set out some things that were possible for that. And I anticipated feeling very connected. And I let go of how that was going to show up. I gave to God, what I want to feel is seen. I want to feel heard on our anniversary. I want to feel connected, and I want him to feel connected. That's what I desire the most. I've got a couple ways in my puny little human mind about how that's going to go down. But I'm totally going to give this to you. There are some things that I can do. For instance, we don't have any candles in the house. We are actually not very romantic with each other. I went and bought candles. Just, novelty, something new, something we had never done. So I put candles out. And that was mine to do. I know that was inspired. I said, I want to feel connected. And I wanted to feel a bit romantic. So I'm using the pictures that I see on TV, and they have candles. Huh. I've seen that. I felt romantic when I watch people with candles. I can do that. I got some candles. But I still let it just flow. And I said, I want this. This is how I see it. And then I would love this. This is how I see it. So one of the best parts of our anniversary was not anything that I said. And it wasn't planned. And it wasn't an idea that came to the two of us that we could expect to know that meant. No, it just flowed. That's the beautiful thing about anticipation. I had that playlist of songs that just really drew me to him when we were dating and early marriage and kind of throughout our marriage, I guess. And I had that playlist and we were just sitting there with the candles, just laying around listening to music. And I said, okay, this song you sent me when you're in Brazil. Okay, this song, so I was totally freaking out and I didn't know if I could trust you. And this song kept saying, I can, so I that's on my playlist. We went through just about every song in my playlist, and we were so connected. Why? Because I anticipated connection. And I let God move that around. So let's just think for a minute about Valentine's Day. Those of you who, quote unquote, don't have a Valentine. I also do not have a Valentine this Valentine's Day, but actually I do. So let me explain. For some reason, in January, my husband does not travel. In February, he does. And it's like almost all February. our anniversary is on the 3rd, Valentine's Day is on the 14th, and my birthday is on the 22nd. And typically, there's never a time he's home for all three. I might get one, sometimes I get none with him being around. So he specifically told work he's available to travel on the 6th so he could be there for our anniversary. Yay! He's going to be gone for Valentine's Day, but he was able to squeeze it in so he's home for my birthday. So this year, Tom is not around at all for Valentine's Day. But a lot of times when he does that, he will send me a bouquet of roses. They're beautiful. I also know that there is some expenses this year that we didn't have last year. And there's a little bit of tightness. And so we already talked about it. And I said, hey, I actually don't need roses or anything this Valentine's Day. He's like, okay. Now I may say, I would love some emotional intimacy. We could do that. We can write letters. We can send memes. I don't know. Some kind of emotional connection. And that is me giving him what's in my heart, him giving me what's in his heart. That's the emotional connection to me. But I still want to have Valentine's Day. So yesterday, as my son was dropping me off here at the park, I said, hey, tonight, this is what's going on. He's like, okay. And I said, and next week, I want you to keep Tuesday night open. He goes, why? And I go, because I would like you to be my Valentine. He kind of looks at me like, Mom, what are you talking about? He says, I just want to do something. I would love to do something between me and you, son, on Valentine's Day. Now, that's not awkward and weird because Valentine's Day is actually about expressing love. It's not all about romanticism. One of the things that I would love to do, and I'm probably going to, is that Jaden and I are going to go and get some balloons and some candy and maybe some flowers, something, and take them over to my daughter and her little girls, my grandbabies. I'm going to go do in fact, what I think would be fun. Ooh, see, I'm planning it now. They don't watch this. It's going to be okay. I would love to do a heart attack, you know? Where you write little notes on hearts and then you put them on the door and then your doorbell ditch. I think I want to do a heart attack. I think that would be super fun. So what I would love for you to do as kind of a step forward is to look at Valentine's Day and don't go into what you expect people to do or you to do. Go into what you would love to experience. That single red rose, what does that rose mean to you? How do you feel if he gives you the rose? This is how you do this. Think about what you expect and go, and what do I feel because of it? So when you attach what do I feel because of that thing, that's actually what you want for Valentine's Day. And you can cut the snake off that is trying to destroy your relationships, trying to tell you you're not lovable and they're wrong and they're never going to get it and you're not important to them and they don't matter. And don't even hope that anything is really going to happen, because you're not supposed to hope, because then you'll just get disappointed. So it's better just to turn off your heart and not even hope. Like that's just, it's the easier way to do it. How about we don't turn off our hearts? How about we say, I would love him to do a little something. If he does a little something, what actually is the feeling that a little something would do? I heard you say, I'd love him to pay attention a little bit. Let me pay attention a little bit. God can do all sorts of things with that. Like, what does paying attention to you mean? What does him paying attention to you mean? So many things. My brain immediately goes to like a massage gun. If I'm doing a massage gun on my husband, I'm paying attention to him, right? Like, what does that even look like to pay attention? I want to feel attended to. I want to feel seen. I want to feel heard. Let God do that in whatever way it shows up. Guys, I would love for you to experience Valentine's Day. So here's the thing. You get to be a super sleuth, anticipate feeling loved, and then don't expect how it's going to show up. Anticipate feeling loved. It doesn't have to come from him. It can. I found love in my husband changing the filters in my house. That is not on any movies, guys. It is not even in a song. There is no song that says, and I saw his, or even a book, I saw his rippling muscles as he changed the air filter, right? That's not a thing. But I want more connection. I want to feel more attentive. I want to feel more loved. I want to feel seen, and I want him to feel seen. So what does that even look like? That's what we're going to do for Valentine's Day. We're going to start creating that. So we're just going to remind ourselves that we're going to anticipate the day, and we're going to feel so much love because we've been willing to be loved and receive love everywhere it goes. So everywhere you can, if somebody says thank you, if somebody opens the door for you, if somebody lets you walk through the door that you've opened and just smiles at you, receive, receive, receive. If you receive over and over and over again, you're going to be primed, pumped, and ready for a love fest on Valentine's Day. That is what I would love the most for you. All right, that's it, everybody. I guess receiving is your thing. Think and receive. What would you love to experience? Go into the feeling of it and receive, and receive, receive, so that on that day, you get to have the best Valentine's Day you've ever had. That's it. See you, everybody.